Hello, so in this video I'm making a snowman globe. I'm using Dad's clay. It's the only clay I've ever used. It's air dry, it doesn't crack, it's very easy to use. So right now I'm rolling out the snowman. This is the head. And then next up is the body. Getting out any imperfections as much as I can. And then just a little bit of shaping. And then now I'm going to make a hat. I use my thumb just to get the nice rounded shape for the head, and then I'm just cutting off a little bit of the excess where I can see it's too big. And then that just pops on top of the round head that I've already made. And again, it's a little bit too big still, so I just squeeze it and then rub the rest together to try and get rid of that seam as much as possible. And then when it's dry, I just go over it with a bit of sandpaper. Little ball for the top of the hat. There's a little bit of water in there, and then I just rough it up a little bit so it can stick a little bit easier. And then smoothing out the edges around it. And then this is the scarf. So I just roll that out into like a sausage and then pat it to flatten it. And then I'm just using one of my tools to straighten up the edges and cut the ends off. Making sure it then fits, and again I just rough it up and a little bit of water so that it sticks. Although with these they do tend to dry and come apart, which is absolutely fine because it makes them easier to paint. Oh sorry, that's not his scarf, that's the top of the hat, or the brim of it. Yeah, so they fall apart, I paint them and then glue them together. It makes painting them so much easier as well, so sometimes I do just gently pull them apart, but making them all as one, it means that everything fits together perfectly. This is the little nose, so I'm doing that in the shape of a carrot. These tend to stick on really nice and easy. Again, I'll just use the tool to make sure it's nice and stuck on there, because I don't really like to glue the noses on afterwards because it makes them a little bit too unstable. And then here I'm just using a skewer to make some little round eyes, and then the other end of it, the sharp end, I use to make the mouth so that I get a little bit of a gradient on the shape. And then the skewer round end again to do like some buttonholes, which I then paint black. And then I'm going to attach the head. So again, a little bit of water and then just roughing up the clay. And then now I'm going to do the scarf. So same thing as the brim of the hat, just roll it out into a sausage. I do a little bit thicker for this because I need it a bit wider. Patting it out with my finger and then cutting the edges. Roughing it up, a little bit of water, and then apply it around the snowman's head. And I like to do it so, this one was a little bit short, so I'm just stretching it back out a bit. And I like to do it so that you've got one bit hanging down on the snowman, just because I think it adds a nice little detail, like so. It did rip a little bit when I was stretching it out, so there I'm just adding a bit of water and sculpting it with the tool a little bit just to make it seamless, and then again when it dries I can sand it. And then I'm using another tool just to put in some sort of detail on the brim of the hat and the end of the scarf. And here they are. I made a couple. One's got a top hat. And then now it's been several days in between this, so these are now dried and being sanded. So I've sanded all of that already. And then I'm using a pearl red acrylic paint because it's got a lovely shimmer to it. And I'm just going to be painting the scarf, and this is the one with the top hat, so I'm just going to do like the ribbon around the hat. sped this up so that it's not too slow for you. And I just slide that scarf on my thumb, makes it nice and easy to paint. This paint normally takes a couple of coats. It's got a really nice finish on it. And then just doing the brim, the ribbon on the hat. I do love these little hats. They come out so nicely, and the acrylic does have a really nice finish on it. It gives it a nice shine. So now doing the black part of the hat. And then round the edge. There's a nice little close-up coming. There it is. It's very small and very cute. I do just neaten up a little bit of the red there as well. That got some black on it. And then I know the clay is white, but I always go over it with white paint for any bits, because you can see a slight difference, so it just gives it a nice clean look. It also helps to give it that extra layer of protection. And I think it's just a nice finishing touch. It gives it the same finish as the rest of the snowman. So here's the rounded glass jar that I am going to be putting the snowman in. I've also got some pre-made Christmas trees, some mini acorns, and a little street lamp as well, which I put in. And then it also has fake snow, which is there. And then I add some glitter to the snow as well. We use a Mod Podge. I put a little bit of that on the bottom, just so that, again, the snow sticks to it, so that it doesn't move around too much. The top of it obviously moves still, but this means that there's always a layer at the bottom if it gets shaken up a little bit. A little bit of glue on the bottom of the lamppost and the tree as well, but I do then put a strong glue on that afterwards, because the Mod Podge isn't enough to hold it. And then I'm also just covering the lamppost with a bit of glue so that it can have the snow stick to it like it would if it was snowing outside. And again, if it gets shaken up, it just makes sure that that snow stays there. Here's the strong glue going on the bottom. This is, I believe, a B6000 or 7000 glue. 7000, you can see it there. Really strong glue. And it's got a nice thin point on the end as well. So lamppost and tree are going in. Snowman's going in next. I'm putting a little bit on the bottom of him. Gently lower him in. His nose is very long and pointy and quite thin, so it was a bit of a task. The hat did pop off because I hadn't let it dry long enough. So I put him in, put the hat back on, and I also just held that there for probably a good minute or so to make sure that that glue had started to dry and it actually stuck. I didn't want him to slide forward and his nose hit the jar, because I want that little bit of gap there to make it look better and also protect the nose. Didn't want it to crack. So now I'm going in with some of the snow. So I'm just sprinkling it all over like it's been snowing from above on them, and then making sure it also gets around all those little edges. You can see it from the front here. I do love these. And then a couple of acorns going in. Ribbon around the edge. I was doing these with a plaited decorative like twine ribbon, which looks nice. It's a little bit of a more rustic look, but I must say the gold ribbon on these does really make them pop. I cut a little bit there. It took me forever to do this bow. So yeah, here's the bow actually being done. Looking good. And then I put some fairy lights in as well. I'm just testing that they work here, which they do. They've got 3 settings, these. They do a fast flash, a slow flash, and then you can just permanently on. I glue them to the lid. They don't show, the battery pack doesn't show at all once you've got it in there, because of the angle that you tend to have them at. The batteries in these are also replaceable, so if they do run out, you can use it year after year. You would just have to pop it off the cork. Add in some nice white glitter, and then I've got these thicker glitter pieces with like little moon and stars in as well. Nice sprinkle of that, it gives a lovely shimmer. And then just putting the lights in, putting them all the way around carefully so that I don't, again, knock that snowman's nose. And there we have it. There's some nice shots here at the end. And I sell these, this is through Rose House Crafts, for £10 each. They're on New Monday, I sell through Facebook. And I do have my own website, but they're not on there yet. And then these are also available on eBay, again, all under my name, Rose House Crafts. Thanks for watching and please subscribe.